What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mostly Audibles podcast, hosted by myself, Jarrett Smith, my co-host Ryan. How we doing, Ryan?
I'm doing fan freaking tastic, surviving, thriving, making it
Survive,
work.
surviving and thriving. It's been a while. It's been
It
a
has
while.
been.
Glad we're back though.
Yes.
It's been far too long, and I'm
See,
so
it's
excited to
it's
talk about
off
this.
season, okay? There's no news, no games, nothing's happening other than what we're talking about right now. So it's okay that we're taking our sweet time getting through it.
Training camps are reporting today, though,
I
so
know.
it's football season.
It is. I know. Jesse Bates we're going to talk about this with Cincinnati here later, but he does not report to initial OTAs.
You gotta, yeah, you kind of expected that one though.
I know. It's just something that I know happened. Um, Like I expected it to, but I was hoping somehow that we would get a contract figured out. Just I don't understand what the front office is so fearful of. Just extend him like long term. That he's one of the
Yeah,
best safeties in the league.
yeah, he's a top 10 safety in the league, even on his down year. I don't
Yeah,
understand,
yeah, I don't
but
know.
hopefully they just like completely screwed up and let him walk, being the Steelers fan. But
No, no.
God, it still hurts me who we drafted ahead of him.
I know.
We're not going to get into it.
I
I
mean, we
can't. It
might
hurt. It hurts too much.
we
We
might get
might.
into it.
Yeah. Damn. All right. Um, you want to talk about the Pac-12 any, or you just want to?
I mean, I don't know what to say other than what's already been said. They're self
Yeah.
imploding from what I've seen. They had conversations with the Big 12 about having kind of like a joint conference. Um,
We're just gonna have like three super conferences here in a few years.
Right. The Pac-12 is self-imploding. I also heard that they were talking with the ACC about another potential joint conference, but when they do that, they were talking about having a championship game in Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, they were talking about just a lot of different things being reported. I think a lot of it is just kind of like fluff. Like not a lot of it might be true.
Yeah.
But you have guys like Oregon and Washington who want out, but will try to make it work if they have to because no one else will take them. And then you got teams like Stanford who are being courted by the Big Ten potentially because of that Notre Dame rivalry if Notre Dame joins the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of everywhere. I'm intrigued. I
I,
don't. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's kind of good for the NCAA to kind of like branch out to this stuff because it was not that it was dying because let's be honest, college football will forever hold reign over most things outside of NFL.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't dying by any means, but also like it was getting stale. You were seeing about same 4 to 6 teams every year. It's just when you know the outcome, what's the point?
Right. Well, that's why you extend the playoffs. That's why,
Yes.
or I guess expand is the best word. You expand to see. Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this, and I've said it previously. Like I feel like for people that know my football talk, they hear me say this, and I don't know what people think, but I don't really care. The FCS has how many teams every year?
I have no idea.
They have
Couldn't tell you.
24 teams.
Mm.
It may be more than that. Hold on. Let me double check. There are like 24 to 27 teams in the FCS college football playoff. Like literally it's called the college football
Uh,
playoff. Like legitimately. Like, it's been called that for a
yeah.
long time. The
Yeah.
NCAA FCS playoff, whatever. Well, they've been doing that since like the late 80s, maybe even previous to that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's worked there for so long. They have 11 regular season games. They have their championship conference game or whatever, and then they just go straight into a sort that like the exact same thing that you would see in basketball. Just instead of how like what 68 teams, you've got 24, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying the FBS needs 24, but like I would
Eight
say
would eight would suffice.
I would say 8 would be a really good number. But also if you wanted to take literally do the exact same format as the NFL and do 12 with 4 buys, I think that'd
Mm-hmm.
work too.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Football. But yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like this shouldn't be as astronomical as it is.
No, like they really could do better, but also it. I understand where they're coming from though, because if you make it 8 teams, let's be honest, like the first round's still not going to matter because like
But you don't know that. Like that's the thing.
I
Is
mean,
that, like you like here's the thing. It's not like this is a series. Like it's not like this is the NBA. This is one
yeah,
game.
it is,
You
but
saw
also
them. Look at what the Bengals could do with one game.
you're not wrong. I will give you that, but also when it's something like Cincinnati versus Alabama, there's just
But that's the thing. Yes,
there's
I understand. Like 9 out of 10 times that is the case. But imagine if this
yeah
logic was applied to college basketball.
yeah I get it.
You know what I mean? Jim
I get it.
Valvano in 1984, they were just like, "Nah, man, you lost 10 games this year. You can't even make the NCAA tournament. Like there's two.
Yeah, they
You
barely
won't
did.
have a chance against Houston. You won't have a
Yeah,
chance against Virginia. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I just
yeah.
feel like that's so short sighted.
I mean, it kind of is, but also
Or saying if you're listening and you feel called out, you are, and I'm not ashamed.
call them out, Ryan.
I just did. They heard it, and they're probably not listening anymore. But that's fine.
Probably not. We might have scared away a couple people. It's
Yeah,
okay.
that's all I have to say. I know
Yeah.
this isn't what we were talking about, but yeah.
Hey, if my accent didn't scare them away, I'm sure this doesn't.
Oh, another thing that I think will happen with conferences, we will see exactly what you just described. Like we'll see like 3 super conferences and the rest be mid-major.
Hmm.
But what will happen is after I would say 10 to 20 years after the 3 super conferences, we'll start seeing those super conferences like break up into smaller conferences again.
Hmm.
It, it
It's gonna be like a cycle.
Oh yeah, it'll be this horrible but also kind of interesting cycle to where like these new conferences will kind of rile up and then they'll
Hmm.
join other conferences and then other conferences will get big and then they'll break up. And so yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see new rivalries start. It'll be fun to see
Hmm.
what conferences get, initiated.
It's just it is kind of good for college football to
Change.
and basketball. Just get some change in there.
Change is good.
Change is good. It's inevitable.
It is. We say that as if the SEC is changing a lot. We're the one conference that gained and didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
Well, except for the Big Ten, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The ACC is about to lose everything. The Big 12 lost, 2 of their biggest money grabbers. Pac-12 is exploding.
All right. So are you ready to get into the Bears?
I am Chicago.
Chicago. We're gonna start with the NFC first because we're both AFC North fans.
We are.
So
If you
we're
couldn't
probably
tell.
gonna talk about them a little bit more. All right. The Chicago Bears.
Oh
Let's
boy.
see. Um, I'm I don't know because like the draft for them wasn't bad. I liked some of their guys that they took, but also they still have a terrible offensive line. It actually got worse. They let James Daniels go.
Mhm.
Their defensive line got worse. They let 2 of their best pass rushers go.
Yeah.
Um,
It's just not a good look.
they let their best wide receiver walk, even though he was always hurt with Chicago.
Mhm.
He's gonna go to LA and ball out. It's just how it works.
He's on my dynasty league. He's on my team, man.
Hopefully he's on mine soon.
Nope. We'll see.
anyway,
We'll see.
anyway, I was gonna try and be generous, but C minus. I like their draft enough to give them a C minus. The rest was pretty pitiful.
Yeah. Fair.
You draft your franchise guy last year in Justin Fields, and then you come out and give him a worse offensive line than what he had last year, which was already atrocious.
Yeah.
And then you let his best receiver walk and don't bring in anyone else. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Darnell Mooney as much as the next guy, but like he can't carry this team.
Yeah, that's facts. No, I
David
understand.
Montgomery isn't. I don't think he's that incredible either. To where you're gonna make him a bell cow.
He'll never get back to what he was when his potential was so high.
Yeah.
His first
So
year and a half, like David Montgomery was seen on that level.
yeah, and he's not gonna be that. He's just not. So what are we really what's the direction that they're going? Because if you're tanking, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if you're doing a good job of tanking right now.
Yeah. No, I definitely think this was a loss in terms of an off season. Not just because they lost so much, they lost their O line, they lost 2 of their best defenders, but also like, are they going into a rebuilding like what you're saying? But also, they hired a new coaching staff. So it's like, do they even know what direction they're going? I just feel like this looks like a clueless franchise. So
But
like, yeah, they have Justin Fields, right?
yeah,
And they brought in some decent, like Byron Pringle is an all right like pass catcher. N'Keal Harry was an interesting get. I really like Velus Jones. I thought that was a great draft. Their
agreed.
draft picks were pretty good. Like Kyler Gordon was really a great pickup for them.
Loved Kyler Gordon coming out.
But then also they pair him with Daquan Brisker, which
Hmm.
I think will really make their secondary in about 2 or 3 years. So
Yeah,
like their secondary, like their draft in terms of what they needed and what they got, I think really hit very well. Um, but they, like you're saying, they need guys that will be impact makers right now,
hmm,
and they just didn't bring in any of that. So I'll go D plus. They got significantly worse. They had a coaching staff change. I will say a big guy that I think he'll take a huge leap this year, especially with Justin Fields running for his life. Cole Kmet, the tight end.
agreed.
He finally has that starting job. And I really think as a pass catching tight end with a lot of potential, but I'll go further than that. He's got a lot of talent. I really think he was already on the roster. Justin already knows him potentially, maybe trusts him more. And with a lot of youth and with a lot of inexperience in that wide receiver core, I guarantee you Cole Kmet will get a lot of targets.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Another thing that we're not talking about is Roquan Smith has not showed up to camp,
Yeah, not at
and
all.
that's because of a contract situation. He's probably going to get traded. If I had to guess, he should get traded. Like if you don't have him, your defense is just incredibly worse. Like it's not even. It probably there's a chance that they could be bottom three in the league in both offense and defense if you let him go too.
Yeah, he's the last one
So
standing of what was a really good defense.
yeah, I mean they're really gonna have to have a stellar offseason next season just to be even able to compete, unless Justin Fields pulls some miraculous uh Tom Brady like thing where he's just incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happen. I like Justin Fields. He's not Tom Brady.
To be this bad in the NFC North, I think it says a lot, like as a franchise, because this is
Yeah.
not just the year for the NFC North. This is the year for the NFC. Like
Hmm.
it's top heavy. You think with a team that has a guy like Justin Fields, who they trust, you think they would have spent more, done what they
Yeah.
can to bring back some of those guys, but they just didn't.
I mean, this is a team that'll be lucky to win 4 games.
Yeah, I am shocked that they didn't go out of their way, because like it's not like they're spending money.
Hmm.
So like, what are they doing with it? Are they just waiting? Because right now, I don't know a better window than the one they have right now. I know Justin Fields going into his second year and a new coach, but also you're looking around thinking, okay, the only team in our division that we're gonna have to actually compete with is Green Bay, who's significantly worse.
Yeah, and the thing is they got a lot of money off their books. They got rid of Khalil Mack's contract,
Yeah,
Hakeem Hicks's contract, Nick Foles' contract, Allen Robinson's contract. You got rid of so much money that I mean, you
like,
can say it was weighing you down, whatever,
and they're
but
still
you
not
got rid
paying
of
Roquan.
yeah, they're still not paying Roquan.
Like that's fine if you want to get this regime out because you feel like this was a busted attempt, right? You think that this
Yeah.
core just isn't good together, and you don't want to pay them. That's fine, but
Hmm.
at least give your guys a fighting chance. This just like I said earlier, like a clueless franchise. That's what this is. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, they haven't for what since 2015.
That's what. Yeah, that's really what it feels like.
I mean, they have felt incompetent for so long. I mean, yeah, they did do the Khalil Mack trade and had an incredible defense, but their offense was still lacking.
Oh, well, that was
So,
the Matt Nagy effect.
yeah.
I really feel like they're scrambling. Like they pulled together some great deals to put together this defense, and then
Hmm.
it just didn't work because of the coach they had. And now that they've had, you know what I mean? Like the
Hmm.
window for that defense that they brought is just gone.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, they're definitely in scramble mode. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to pull something out of a hat to absolutely
Yeah.
be anything.
Yeah. I know. It's just sad too because like there was promise there a few years ago.
Yeah,
I mean, you even had Mitchell Trubisky going to the Pro Bowl.
yeah, for
Like,
sure.
I mean, there was promise there, and
Yeah,
it went away so fast.
if you have any sort of play calling competency, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, they're they are the Bears.
They are, in fact, the Bears.
Yeah. All right. The Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think they had an incredible offseason.
Oh, they were fantastic.
It was absolutely phenomenal. The draft went really well. Jameson Williams, Aiden Hutchinson. They got Josh Pascal in the second round. Love the BBN pick.
Oh yeah.
And then they also have Mr. Kneecaps leading the helm. So I'm giving this offseason an A minus.
Okay.
Is it biased? Yes. Do I care? Not at all.
Give more. Why?
Why?
I know you said a little bit, but I want to know more. Like what?
Okay. Well, first off, I love the draft.
Of course.
Loved what they did in the draft. So that automatically gives them higher up. They brought in DJ Chark. Love that. He is an incredible wide receiver. Think he's going to do well with Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff actually takes a bit of a step forward this year because that offensive
Wow.
line is also going to take a step forward. I don't think it's going to be miraculous. Like the he's not going to live up to number one pick, but I think he also takes a step forward this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you combine that with some of the other like smaller guys they brought in, Sean Elliott, Gerard Davis back, Mike Hughes coming in. Like I think they've brought in enough pieces this year to where they actually look like a competent franchise again.
Mm.
And I'm all the way here for it.
All right. So these Lions, my friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gave them an A minus. I'm gonna give them a B plus, simply because like I do agree that they had a great offseason, but I'm not gonna say it was groundbreaking, right? Like they had a really good draft class. They kept what they needed to keep in terms of a central core.
Mm-hmm.
They kept what was successful from last year, including their coach. I'm like, I know. I mean, it was only Dan Campbell's first year, but I've seen weirder things happen to a lot better coaches. So I was really worried that he was going to end up getting fired or something stupid was going to happen, right?
Yeah,
But he's still at the helm. That team will run through a brick wall for this man.
as they should.
Oh yeah, you bring in guys like Josh Pascal. You bring in guys like I feel like the Aiden Hutchinson pick was phenomenal. Like I
Oh
know
yeah.
he might not have been number one material, and I know there were a lot of people that criticized the pick, but you get a guy that was already a top 5 talent playing at home. Like him being comfortable already like gives him a one up on a lot of other guys going in
Oh,
get
yeah,
day one.
definitely.
So I like the Aiden Hutchinson pick. I don't think there was much of a choice there. And then if and when Jameson Williams gets healthy, that wide receiver core is pretty good. I'm very curious to see how Amon-Ra St. Brown progresses because he kind of came out of the woodwork late in the year,
Mm-hmm.
but he was still, phenomenal.
He
You brought
was.
up DJ Chark. I do think that was a really good roundabout, or not roundabout, but that was a really good way to round out. There we go. That wide receiver
There we
core. If
go.
Jameson Williams can play, if he gets healthy, those three together are really good. You got DeAndre Swift who can absolutely like once he gets the ball, he's a lightning rod.
Mm-hmm.
A good pass catching back out of the backfield. TJ Hawkinson's a really good tight end. So and like you said, they're lines. So like they've got some potential. My boy Tim Boyle's gonna get some playing time. Let's go, EKU represent. Um, but other than that, yeah,
Boy,
I got
Tim
no,
Boyle.
I got
That was
nothing.
not a name that I was expecting to hear in this
I
podcast.
know. Hey man, you can't listen. I go to Eastern Kentucky University. I saw Tim Boyle's name. My guy played at EKU. I'm not gonna not shout him out.
That's fair. I mean, I went there too. I still wasn't going to shout him out,
I
but
did.
I,
It's
I
me.
respect it.
It's me. It's not like I'm talking about David Blow.
Wow.
No, I know how to pronounce his name, but it looks like Blow to me, and it cracks me up.
David Blue.
David Blay.
Yeah.
I know.
I really do love this offseason. Like I think the Lions are going to compete for a playoff spot, and I'm all the way here for it.
Really?
Yes, it's a top heavy conference.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just, it's insane. I just, it's crazy.
Listen, more insane things have happened.
No, you're
Like the
right.
Bengals making it to the Super Bowl last year.
You're right.
Insanity.
You're right. You're right. I mean, I wouldn't call that insanity, but like just the
Well,
thought, the thought that this Lions team, after what was such a bad franchise, like now there might be competing for a playoff spot.
yeah, could you imagine they drafted Calvin Johnson this year?
Yeah. That. Oh man.
Maybe
Whew.
Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I mean, you know, good times. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, the amount of Hall of Fame careers that they've wasted is sad.
Yeah,
It is.
it is. But you know what? Not today.
No, not today.
Not
The Lions are
today.
coming for it. If only they had had Mr. Kneecaps Dan Campbell himself at the helm, they might have actually done
What
something.
I'm saying, you never know.
He
This
will, he will never live that down. Like
nah.
there is no chance that he lives the kneecaps comment down.
Listen, if my incoming coach talked about biting kneecaps on his way back up after getting knocked down, I'd be all for it too. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
This
Again, that's why they're running through a brick wall for that man.
I know. This man
I'd run
literally
through a brick wall for him, and I don't even like the Lions that much.
why was he in like the description? Like I don't understand. Got so descriptive. He's like, "You can knock us back down, and we'll get the other kneecap." And it's like, what? What do you mean? Like, I mean, great for him, but like,
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
maybe I just don't have what it takes. Maybe I'm just
Maybe. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. I'm not someone that Dan Campbell would want to play for him mentally.
I don't know. I've seen you fight.
Listen, man, we don't talk about that lore. That's some deep lore.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there.
It wasn't a fight. It was like wrestle.
Yeah, well, you choked him out.
Stop. Halt. Whoa.
I hope he
Whoa.
listens to
Whoa.
this.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
uh,
Too much lore.
okay. Let's go on to the Green Bay Packers. We're all looking forward to the Green Bay Packers.
Are we?
Well,
I guarantee
probably
you who's
not,
not looking
but
forward to the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, that is also very true.
Yeah, he
Um,
no.
yeah, probably not. Anyway, let's get into it. So, I absolutely loved their draft. Quay Walker at as late as they got him was an absolute steal.
Oh yeah.
I really liked Christian Watson too. Devontae Wyatt was a very good defensive tackle at Georgia. I really like that.
To pair those two back together is ridiculous.
Yes, I'm I'm very pleased with their draft.
Yeah.
They did let Zadarius Smith go, which with the emergence of Rashawn Gary, I guess is not it's not that big of a deal. You still let one of the better pass rushers in the league walk, but you know, you give and you take. He wasn't healthy last year. Rashawn Gary exploded into one of the best edge rushers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So you take that. They let MVS walk, which I mean they weren't going to give him 10 million a year like Kansas City was, so you kind of understand it.
What was he?
But
What was he
I
gonna do
mean,
anyway?
uh, probably not much. They brought in Sammy Watkins, who is going to fill the role of MVS. They're probably going to be about the same player, and they got him for oh, eight $8 million cheaper.
Yeah.
So you're okay with that. Offensive line is basically still the same. You didn't really lose too much. They just got to get healthy. That's all their offensive line has ever had issues with is getting people healthy.
Yeah.
Um, you did lose Devontae Adams. That's a real killer. That is you when you lose the best receiver in football, arguably.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not going to be pretty. But you do have Aaron Rodgers, and he is arguably the best quarterback in football, and has made nobodies into somebody's his entire career. So you kind of hope he still has the magic to do that.
I hope he
Um,
does. For my
all in all,
dynasty team's sake.
well, that's fair. All in all, I'm going to give him a B minus. I feel like that's being generous, but I really love their draft.
Oh yeah, and I understandably, I won't go as much into the draft. I will say, in terms of their draft, though, I've not seen a lot of Christian Watson. I don't know a lot about him. I know he was drafted, obviously, but like what he can bring to the table, he just looks like a speedy wideout with some good catching ability. I don't know what else he brings in terms of like I don't know how big he is. I don't know how fast he is. I don't know any of it. Um, so if you want to fill that in here in a second, then like I'll allow you. But I just have my grade in short is going to be a C. I feel like I feel like a C is generous. I really feel like while yes their draft class was really good, in terms of guys that will make impacts now. Okay, that you bring in Sammy Watkins, he's hurt. You know, you draft Christian
Right.
Watson, he's hurt. Robert Tunyon's still hurt. Your line is you've got two guys that are still hurt. Um, on a line that was good, but like not the best in the league. Like it's pretty good. And with a defense that's once again it does what it needs to do, but it's not like no one's looking at the Green Bay defense and thinking that's a tough defense. Like it gets stops when they need to.
I would say they're around middle of the pack, but
Yeah.
with Aaron Rodgers, that's really all you need.
Well, I agree, but I will bring this back around to Aaron Rodgers. His best receiving option right now is Allen Lazard. Yes, I know it.
Yeah.
You made a good point with has made nobodies into somebody's entire career, but the man is also 38 years old, and he's got nobody that he can just chuck it up to, and almost everybody else is hurt. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they can get healthy. I feel like with the four of Lazard, Watson, Watkins, and Tunyon, they can be like they can they'll be fine. Um,
Hmm.
but also, so I was talked about a lot about my fantasy team this episode. Aaron Jones is also on my fantasy squad, and I feel like he's going to get a lot of touches this year. So hopefully that works in my favor even more. That's all I
Yeah.
have to say about Green Bay. That is all.
That's it.
That's it.
That's everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. I
Yeah.
respect it. I did. I like their offset. I like the draft a lot.
Oh, it
That's
was a great
honestly where
draft.
I was.
I
Like
mean, they
they
plugged
had a
holes that
great
they had.
draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. That's all you can really ask for with a team like Green Bay where you don't have that much money.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to just grade them off their draft, they'd be B plus, sure. But I don't know. Like
But,
you're
I
competing for
mean,
Super Bowls, and what are you doing? Losing your
yeah,
best players.
I get it. I do. I do. But also, they're still going to be good. So
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not.
oh
That's not. This is not like a one where you can go wrong if you say a good grade or a bad grade because they're going to be good this year.
yeah,
And also, in like 3 years, once Aaron Rodgers is gone, they're probably not going to be good. So
at all.
you've got leeway to where it doesn't really matter what you put for this team.
Right. They've
It's
sold
just
their soul to be good right now.
yeah, they did.
And they will. And it's worked in their
Uh,
favor because the rest of, as we've said many times, the rest of the NFC is so top heavy.
yeah,
They just need
and
one good run.
they do, and that honestly, they really need like the weather to cooperate with them when it
Yeah.
comes to like honestly, I'm getting to the point where I'm with them where I'm just sitting there like you should probably suck a little bit more in the regular season. You can get some away games. The
Just,
weather might be better.
yeah, like go down to Tampa Bay, go over to San
Yeah,
Francisco, like get some good weather.
yeah, get some good weather. Like there's no need to play in a foot of snow.
Knowing their luck, though, they would do that. Like they just sneak in, and in the wild card, they'd have to go to like Minnesota.
Yeah.
like like they go straight to like Denver in the freezing rain or something. Like it would
Mm,
just crack me up. Well,
that
they
would be
couldn't go to
very
Denver,
funny.
but like you know what I'm saying.
I know what you mean.
Think of cold places: Minnesota,
New England.
Detroit.
Yeah. I'm good on the Packers. Like there's not really much else to say. They did
As
what
am
they
I.
had to.
I agree. I concur.
Minnesota Vikings. I don't know how to feel about the Vikings.
I mean, they didn't really
Um,
do anything.
they did bring in Zadarius Smith, which I like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, outside of that, they brought in Lewisine, Andrew Booth Jr., and other than that, their draft was okay. I mean, I
Yeah.
wasn't really the biggest fan after those two, but
Yeah.
those two are very good. Really like Lewisine, really like Andrew Booth. But yeah, they didn't do anything to make me want to say that they had an incredible offseason. I'm going to give them a C plus because I did like the Zadarius Smith signing. That was nice,
Yeah.
and I like their first two picks in the draft. But after that, they really didn't do anything to make me want to say, "Oh, they had one of the best off seasons in the NFL," or "Oh, they had one of the worst off seasons." No, it was just it was a very Vikings off season where it was just, eh, it's the Vikings.
Yeah. They plugged holes that they needed. They kept guys that
Mhm.
they trust and rely on.
Mhm.
I'm that's pretty much where I'm at. I'm gonna give them a C. They didn't get better, but they didn't get worse.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is one of those years that they can get away with that and probably
Yeah,
finish
it is.
higher.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say this draft this year was so like strange because there like you had a wide range of where people could go. Like I saw Lewis Cine projected in the top 12 picks at one point, and then I saw him projected in like the second round the next day.
Yeah,
So you like drafting wise, you just had to pick your guys.
yeah,
There was no other thing about it. You pick your guys and you go on. You be happy with it. I mean, that was the way it was this year. There was no outside of what the first five picks
yeah.
it was fairly unpredictable. I wouldn't even say probably five. Outside of like the first three, it was it was very unpredictable from then on.
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
So draft wise, you gotta give a little credit because they got their guys, and I like their guys, so I'll give them credit there. But just other than that, they I mean, they didn't really do anything. They're kind of in that in between phase where like they can compete. They could also blow it up, but I think this is the year they should compete. I like the new coaching staff. I think it was time for Zim to get out of there. So
Yeah,
that honestly, them getting Zim out helped their grade with me a little bit because it was time.
yeah. No,
So
I agree.
I just they plugged their holes. They did what they needed to do. I like the draft a little bit. C plus. It was there. I mean,
Yeah. Um. I yeah. I'll stick with my C. Just looking at their depth chart, I mean they're the same team. You know, like Kirk,
yeah.
Dalvin, Justin, Adam. Um.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that though.
No, no. Like if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And I mean it's not broke at all. Uh.
No. They're gonna be a playoff team.
Yeah, and like you said, they already had a really competent defense, and you add Zadarius Smith. Um, yeah, I like I said, I stay a C, but this isn't like a negative C. You know, like this isn't like in I feel like in the past we've given a negative connotation to that grade. In this instance, it's just like a they didn't do anything. You know, like
They didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like they didn't go out of their way, they didn't trade anybody, like they didn't make really any mistakes. Like you said, they got the guys that they needed, and they stayed the same because they know this year that they can do that and do it very well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it's fine. Like a C, just not like a
Yeah.
C. This is a C.
No, it's not a C minus.
No, it's just C.
C positive.
Yeah, C. C no, not C positive. That would nah.
I'm so
It's
all that was going through my head was the South Park thing. I'm HIV positive.
yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
that
No, no, this
was
is
that was all I
just
could think
C.
of right there.
Just C.
Okay. As much as I really regret to do this, let's go on to the
Let's
Cincinnati Bengals.
go! Let's go! Your 2023 Super Bowl champions.
Okay, let's not
Let's
go that far.
go! No, dude, I don't think you understand. This is the first time in my life I've been this hype about a Bengals season.
Yeah, you should be because well they're good. They are.
Yeah, to
They are
say the
very good.
least.
Um,
Bro,
and
you bring back Jesse Bates. I'm gonna go first, okay?
I'll let you
Shut,
go
you
first.
just hush.
Sorry, I'll shut my trap.
Okay, listen. This is the one time that I have full reign right here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Listen. You bring in Collins. You bring in Kappa. What does that do? That solidifies the one problem area on our team. Then what do? You look at. Now you think, okay, what's the other thing that we have issues with, okay? Our secondary. Do we have a lot of really good players in our secondary? Of course. But, secondary depth could have been a lot better. We re-signed Eli Apple to a 1-year deal, which, however you feel about him, it's whatever. He's back, and he will be a starter. He will be a guy that does add a lot of depth. But then in the draft, you bring in both Dax Hill and Cam Taylor-Britt. You kidding me? Like, you just give us more depth in positions that we need depth in? We have the best wide receiver core in the league. We have an amazing line now. We have a great running back with a top 5 quarterback. You know what? It's an A. It's an A. It's an offseason for the A for the Cincinnati Bengals. What did you do? You go out, you compete for a Super Bowl. Should have won that Super Bowl, but I digress. Then you turn around and you just plug areas with the talent that got you to that Super Bowl. You know how good this Bengals team's going to be? Not just that we brought on the field, but then you introduce the white tiger suit. Listen, this fit with the white helmets, the white colorways, and all the talent we have. I'm ringing the bell. I'm hitting the alarm. Cincinnati to the Super Bowl Part 2. You may now speak.
I was about to ask if I could speak.
You may now speak.
I mean, it is my podcast after all.
I hijacked it for a solid minute.
Yeah, that was less time than I was expecting. I was expecting to sit here for a few.
No.
I'm kind of proud you kept it to where you did. It was
I
it was a
understand.
it was a
where I
good
am.
minute though.
I understand whose show it is.
Well, I believe you're going to be very happy with what I'm about to say.
Let's go.
I'm just kidding. No, it was by far and away an A. You could say A plus. I'm gonna leave it at an A. It wasn't incredibly perfect, but it was damn close. I loved bringing in La'el Collins, Alex Kappa. Loved getting in Dax Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Thought he was very good. He was very good in college. There's no other way around it. Joe Burrow is top 7 quarterback. I'm not going to go as far as say top 5.
Top 5.
Whatever. He's top 7. Get over it.
I will make arguments for every quarterback in that list.
Okay. And you can make quarterback. You can make the argument though, because like they're all genuinely from like 3 to 7. You could interchange them, and I don't think many people would be like, that's absolutely insane.
Right. No, I agree. And if I'm being non-biased, I would probably say, agree he is probably closer to top 7, but exactly like what you just said, I think is very much factual.
But anyway, this it was the perfect offseason for a team that had some money, was just on a Super Bowl run. Like, this is that time where you have Joe Burrow on his rookie deal that you can take the chances and spend the money to get that Super Bowl. And it's been the formula recently to where you draft a quarterback and you build up that team around them to where it's incredible, and that rookie quarterback is just they're set up for success no matter what.
Right.
It's exactly what the Rams did with Goff. It was the perfect example, because Goff was not on Joe Burrow's level talent-wise, not even close.
Never.
No. But you give Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase,
dude,
and I mean it's scary. I'm going to take back my take, because in hindsight, I still thought they should have drafted Sewell, but you got to give him credit. Jamar Chase is an absolute animal. They fixed the O-line this year. Burrow's not going to be running for his life. And is this the best offseason in the NFL?
I really think it is. That's the thing.
I think this is as close to an A+ as we've come, besides
subtle.
the Jets.
It's a subtle, besides Kappa and Collins, those made waves throughout the league. But all the other signings that they did, like the Hayden Hurst to replace C.J. Uzomah, I know the Dax Hill people will talk about how good that is, but think about this, okay? Dax Hill in a rotation with Von Bell and Jesse Bates in your safety core. That is so tough. There's not at any point in any game where you're not throwing to a ball hawk.
Hmm.
That is so tough. You
It
still
is.
have Trey Hendrickson, you still have Logan Wilson, you still have Jermaine Pratt, you still have B.J. Hill. You've got all these guys that were making plays for us, and then you just got deeper. You just talking about the offensive line. For the first time in my life, I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at the names of people on our line, and I'm thinking, oh my god.
Hmm.
Like the last time I can look at our line and think that and be like competent and act, or not be competent, be confident. There we go. In this was when we had Andrew Whitworth.
2015.
Yeah, like legit better part of a decade. And I'm looking and I see
Yeah.
Collins, I see Kappa, I see Karras, I see Carmen, and I see Williams, and I'm thinking, oh my god,
There's hope for that offensive line to
he's
be
gonna get
incredible.
more than a second and a half to throw the ball.
I know.
Like,
Maybe two.
oh my
Maybe
god,
two.
he's gonna get 2 seconds. Like
If he had had two in the Super Bowl, y'all would have
we
won.
would have, yeah, we'd be Super Bowl champions right now.
I was really expecting you to be a little more butthurt by that, but you weren't, and
Um,
I'm kind of sad now.
I mean, okay, listen, I am, and we've talked about this like I think 2 or 3 episodes ago. I was more hurt, and I will always be more hurt of the. Bless you.
Thank you.
I was wondering what that sound was. Like earlier, a demon came out, and now and the sneezes. I wasn't for sure what that was. Anyway, I will be
It's
more hurt.
dusty, man.
I will always be more about the Logan Wilson over like the Logan Wilson call will always hurt more than the Jamar Chase being open. And I know that might not seem like it should be, but it's just like
I get it.
if we stop them on fourth down on what should have been, it was one of the best, like in terms of a linebacker in coverage, was one of the best plays I had ever seen. Um, Especially on Cooper Cup.
Hmm.
So like out of like that one, the fact that he did it so perfectly, it was on fourth down. We would have gotten the ball back with the lead. That one would always hurt more because like I guess I get more solace from the fact that we knew our line would let us down. So it's like yeah, he got hit, and it was just like, well, I expected this. But when Logan got penalized, I like that one. That one will always hurt more. But dude, that photo of Jamar having put, I don't even remember who he like broke. That dude's ankles are gone. He was laying on his face on the turf on that last play.
Yeah.
Jamar was
He just
by himself down the field.
half a second and they're Super Bowl champions.
Well, Joe was looking at him.
Yeah, he just didn't have the time.
No, he was eyeing him down the whole way. Yeah, I don't know. Like that, I don't think there's anything else we can say about the Bengals in terms of what happened and what they're gonna do. But yeah, I'm very happy. Very, very, very happy.
As you should be. It was a very good offseason, and I'm really impressed that we did not take forever on this one because I fully expected us to.
Yeah, I mean, once we know it so well, I feel like we can put it into words quicker. Does that make sense?
Yeah. See, this is the division that we're both going to know the best, so we're going to be able to talk about it better than.
The other, yeah, for sure.
All right,
Alrighty.
let's go. The Cleveland Browns.
Yes.
This is going to be a very controversial one. I'm going to go ahead and say.
Okay.
Um. So Browns offseason. I'm going to be a little harsh. I'm going to go D plus.
Okay.
So they did bring in Deshaun Watson, which I mean,
It won't make much of a
it's just
difference from this
no.
year.
He's probably going to be suspended this year. He
Yeah.
probably shouldn't even be in the league in general.
Oh no, he
So,
shouldn't.
um, yeah, they gave up what 4 years first round picks for that.
Yep.
They traded away Baker Mayfield to was a guy who actually wanted to be in Cleveland because you pissed him off so bad. And honestly, other than that, like there really isn't much to say. Like they could have. It could honestly have been a really good offseason for them.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the entire Deshaun Watson thing is what makes it a D plus for me because I can't get over them bringing him in
For the
with what they knew
haul.
for the haul with what they knew.
Yeah.
So I just right now it'll be a D plus. In 3 years, it probably won't matter. Let's be honest.
Oh, no, no, no.
It'll probably be one of the best moves in football. Be talked about forever. Whatever. But for now, I'm very comfortable giving this a D plus because I wasn't happy with it. I don't think they really they didn't do anything to get better either.
Yeah. I mean, you think a D plus is a harsh? They're just getting a straight D for me. I feel like this might, like, once again, I know I'm a Bengals fan and I understand, like, I don't like Cleveland at all. In fact, I hate them. But I'm gonna say what's really agitating the Browns. They're a sleazy franchise. They're slimy. They're gross. They agitate me, and it wasn't this bad until this previous season because of what they did to Baker, what they did knowing with the deal for Deshaun, knowing what he did. Like, I've already described how mad I am at Houston, especially now because
Mhm.
they were withholding information until he was gone, but they were straight up enabling this man, right?
Mhm.
And then knowing that fact, you still deal for him, you still give this huge haul, but also you scapegoat the guy that was going out every single game, but he couldn't even lift his shoulder. Like, Baker was so hurt he had to have help putting on his shoulder pads. I'm not here to say Baker is an all-time starting quarterback. I don't even know if he should, like there's going to be a quarterback competition, and I can't tell you if Sam Darnold plays the way he did in the first 4 games of last season, Sam Darnold should be the starting quarterback in Carolina.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not sitting here trying to like say that Baker is the guy, because he's not. He's a good starter on a decent team, right?
Yeah.
But to do that to him, to throw him out there knowing he was hurt, and then to scapegoat him to say he was the problem, deal for somebody who's not going to play this year, but then continue to say that Baker's the problem. It just, that agitates me to no end. I feel like that's, like I said, that's slimy. I feel like that is just dirty.
Mhm.
But in terms of football talk, they did bring in Amari Cooper. I think
Yeah.
him next to Donovan Peoples-Jones. Say if it's probably going to be Jacoby Brissett, right? He's probably going to be the guy to throw the ball, which he's fine. Um, they will be a competent team. They got a decent line. Their defense will still be pretty good. So, like, they will be a they won't make the playoffs. Let's just put this out there. Like Browns fans, you're back to being in the gutter. Like, let's just get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Not in this AFC.
No.
But
It's not going to be a pretty year for them.
no, but they will be competitive.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, they still
Jacoby,
have one of the best defenders in football. The defense is good.
and they got a really
Uh,
good running back room.
yeah, they do. They really do.
Chubb Hunt,
And it's going to carry them.
yeah,
It has
Ernest
to.
Johnson was doing well. Um, and like I said, they're like David Bell is he's kind of, I don't want to call him a question mark. He's hurt, but like I don't know if that really rounds out your wide receiver core. But Cooper and Peoples Jones they're both really good. Um, Njoku is that was a great extension this offseason. Like I love David Njoku. Um, but yeah, I outside of personal beliefs, they didn't really like what you said. Like, I'm gonna give them a D because they got worse. Like, yes, they bring in Amari, but like, what did they do? Whatever controversial take you want to say, like I feel like, I don't know. I just don't believe in the Browns this year.
I don't either. I'm glad we were in agreement on that because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as controversial now. But also, like, it just it makes you angry
Yep.
just what they did. Like, I'm fully expecting some Browns fans to show up with bags over their heads again.
Oh, dude. Like, there was this joke in Bengals Twitter when the Browns traded for Deshaun. It was all these former Browns fans hopping ship to Cincinnati. And
Mhm.
there was this meme of it was like an application, and it was like Bengals fan applicants. And it,
Yeah.
it was like going around to all these former Browns fans, and that's how many people left the fandom
Mhm.
because of how angry they got over this decision.
I mean, I can't lie. If it was my team, I don't know if I could do it either.
Oh, same. Like, I'd really have to
Because
think about it.
you're basically guaranteed another 5 years of seeing that guy on the field,
No,
at least
it's
for the
disgusting.
Browns.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it is. All right. Do you want to move on or keep talking about this? Because
I don't think
I'm done.
I don't have anything more. Just like the Browns, I'm finished.
Yep. All right. go on to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes. All right, here we go.
Um, I'm I was very happy. Well, not very happy because I don't like the Ravens,
Oh, neither
but
do I.
their offseason was incredible. I'm
Dude,
gonna give them an A minus.
their
The
draft
draft,
class.
the draft was a phenomenal haul. Brought in
Bro,
Marcus Williams, who was one of the best safeties in the league last year. I
dude.
mean, that their offensive line actually got a little better.
Yeah.
They brought back the pieces that they needed to. They did lose Bradley Bozeman in the middle, which I thought was kind of unfortunate, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
They've already replaced him. Their offensive line coach is incredible. They're going to be good.
Of course.
So I'm going to give them an A minus, and I'm very okay with that. They're going to be the Ravens. They're going to be good. They've always been good. They're well coached.
Yeah.
All this comes down to for them is health.
Yep.
And if they are healthy, they have a chance.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not going to give them an A minus. I think if it was based just predominantly on their draft class, then yes. Um, I love the Marcus Williams pickup. Like obviously,
Mhm.
like everything you just said. I won't restate what you said because I completely agree. But then you add Kyle Hamilton, and,
Yeah.
and Tyler Linderbaum to the O line.
Yeah.
Just like as I just scroll down, just like it's like every name is just like I see it. I'm just like, that's a good fit. Like
Yeah.
there's not one pick that they wasted. And so
No, they draft incredibly every year.
I
It's how
know
it's
it's annoying.
they have to have one of the best scouting departments in the NFL, and
It's
I don't
so
I don't
annoying.
honestly know if there's anybody that's close to them right now.
No,
Like I don't know of anybody that scouts better than they do.
right.
I mean, who else would you say is up there with them? I mean, the Rams traded for all their talent.
Yeah,
The
no,
Buccaneers sucked before Tom Brady got there, even though they have a lot of
I
talent.
mean, see, that's the thing. Like my instinct would say like a New England type, not because they draft high
Yeah.
talent, but they always draft guys that fit their system. But then they went out and drafted what's his name, in the first round from
Oh,
Chattanooga,
the lineman. I don't remember his name.
Cole something.
Yeah,
I
Strange.
Yes, Strange. There we go. Yeah, and that like I get it. We described it earlier. It was a weird draft, but like even that, like that's going to be a questionable decision until we see otherwise. But
Yeah,
just looking like every year, just looking at the Ravens draft, you're like, oh yeah, it's a great fit. You don't really see that anywhere else in the league.
no, you don't. You really don't. They have one of the better scouting departments in the league,
Yeah,
and I I would go as far as to say they're the best. I mean, it's them and what 49ers.
everybody's safe. San Francisco is really good too.
I would say LA, but they traded all their
Yeah, no.
off for all their good players
Yeah,
except for Cup and Donald,
yeah,
which it is Cooper Cup and Aaron Donald, two of the best of their positions, but still.
yeah. No, I agree. I, they need to get like you said, especially in their running back room, just because Lamar's going to run the ball.
Mhm.
Um, if you can get that running back core of Dobbins and Edwards healthy, they'll be fine. But their receiver core still scares me because they're still going to try to throw the ball. Rashad Bateman, Devin Dunvernay, sorry, and James
Duvernay.
Duvernay, whatever.
Hook
I
'em
don't know.
horns.
It's like I look at it and I'm like, this isn't a really good wide receiver core. You've got Mark Andrews, who's great, but he's going to get doubled every game if you're not careful.
Probably still gonna get doubled every game.
Yeah, like J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards still aren't healthy. They do have a good line. I mean, regardless, like for every reason you
Yeah.
just said, and they got a good defense. So it's like they'll be fine. I just feel like their offense will stall, a lot.
Mhm.
But also, Lamar Jackson he's electrifying enough that he can make plays.
Oh, if he's healthy this year, they're going to be hard to beat.
That's what I'm saying. Like Lamar without the wide receiver core will make plays enough that he can score himself, and that defense is
Mhm.
great enough that it will get stops. So
Mhm.
yeah, like I said, their offense will stall sometimes. Not to Lamar's lack of effort. He will do very well. He'll always get his
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But just because they're other than him, who you got?
Yeah.
The only
I
other
mean,
target's getting doubled.
yeah. they're gonna have to kind of figure out that receiver room, figure out who their guy is, because I don't know if they have one right now.
No, they don't.
But they'll figure something out. Again, it's the Ravens. They're going to be fine.
They will be.
They should be. I mean, even if their guys can't beat press coverage to save their life, Lamar is still there. So
Yeah,
all they have to be able to do is catch the ball and find an open space.
exactly. Dude, just run a pistol set and just run slants every play.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you'll be fine.
yeah, they'll
We'll see.
they'll figure something
We'll
out.
see a lot of screens,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of quick hits,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a maybe just a
What
go
was
route.
what was your grade for them, by the way? I don't remember it.
I don't know if I said one. B plus. That I
B
was gonna say.
plus.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think for the simple fact that they lost in their receiver core.
Mm-hmm.
And but like other than that, I can't really I'm not gonna dog on them because they got better.
Mm-hmm.
They did very well. Very good,
They did.
very good draft class. Good signings.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna
I
be fine.
agree. All right. Let's go on to the Berg.
Uh,
Pittsburgh Steelers. Love it.
all
All
right.
right, now you're gonna sit
If I
there
were
and
to
shut the
say, I'm
fuck
gonna
up.
proceed to not speak.
Thank you. Um, Now I would love to give them an A, but it wasn't an A off season. They brought in a lot of guys that I like. James Daniels was a great signing. Mason Cole was okay. Don't really know where that leaves Kendrick Green to fit in. Miles Jack coming in, incredible. Akello Witherspoon, glad they brought him back. Levi Wallace, glad they brought him back. But honestly, most of that doesn't matter except for the O line because Mitchell Trubisky was brought in and Kenny Pickett. They find I'm I've loved Big Ben for a long time. I'm a Steelers fan. He was my favorite quarterback. I mean, loved him. But man, it was time. He was slowing people down. Like I don't think not 2 years ago as bad as last year, but last year he just took it to a whole nother level. He could barely move. He could barely throw the ball that hard. I mean, you could see it. He was just the old Pittsburgh Steelers offense used to be someone run a 40, 50 yard go route and I'm going to launch it and you have a chance to catch it because it's going to be accurate. This past season it was you're going to run a go route, but I can only throw the ball like 25, 30 yards. So you're going to have to make a play and probably get hit by the safety and the corner. Najee was incredible. Uh, I mean, he was a first round running back. I hope he can. I hope he can keep his body right enough to be the bell cow that they're going to need him to be. But with Trubisky coming in, Kenny Pickett coming in, you got to. I love the things that they did. I'm going to give them a B plus because I really do. I loved the moves that they made. I thought they did get better this offseason, and it's it's difficult because they did lose talent. They lost the. They're finally starting to kick out that old regime on offense, but they have. I th- I don't remember if it was the youngest offense in the NFL, but it was close. I think it's like bottom. It's like bottom three when you have bottom like a bottom three youngest team for offense. That's that is a little scary, but also Deontay Johnson's a dog. Chase Claypool looks like he actually cares about football now, which I don't know where that's come from, but I'm here for it. And they drafted George Pickens, who should have been a first round receiver if he honestly could have kept his head on right. And they drafted Calvin Austin, who I loved him coming out. You can't go wrong with someone who just has that dog in him, and he has that dog in him. So I love their draft. Thought it was incredible. They filled the holes they needed to fill. They're back healthy again. They have the highest payroll on defense in the entire NFL, and that defense, if healthy, will dominate. And that offense, if given the chance, I'm really hoping that we see Matt Canada open up the playbook a little bit because last year it was atrocious. If if he doesn't, it's his last year and he's gone. So I think he knows that. And whenever you get in the NFL and you see someone that like guys that are on rookie contracts or something, they're trying to go for their next big contract, they're always going to perform better. And I think that's going to be what he does this year, and he's going to be a at least decent offensive coordinator because last year he probably was the worst offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
So I'm very happy with my B plus. I'll give you the floor now.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna match your B plus. Um, and I'm putting aside all biases, and I'm just gonna call it like I see it. Adding, and I was gonna say this, and then you brought it up, so once again, I'm not gonna restate what you said. I'm just gonna say it and then get it over with because the Pickens and Austin pickups beside Johnson, Claypool, and Fairmouth are awesome. Like in terms of like pass catching, that's phenomenal. Like that's a good core. That's crazy good core. You got depth, you got playmaking ability, and it doesn't really matter who's under center because whether it's Trubisky or Pickett, they're going to get the ball to him. So you're going to be dangerous. Your O line, not bad. Depends. I'll let you speak more on the O line if you would like, but I'm not going to say they're great, but I'm not going to say they're trash. But in terms of defense, I see two names specifically, not because these guys are like stars and that they're going to absolutely like fill up the stat column, but because they're so good at rounding out teams. Like you always need glue guys. You always need guys that you can kind of fill out a roster with that can still start, still fill in. Miles Jack and Larry Ogunjobi are phenomenal signings to a already really good defense that plugs in a lot of holes. You're not like you said with the payroll, like they are spending a lot, but those two aren't costing an astronomical amount when you think about it. So I love everything about what they're doing in terms of like just non-bias, just from a football perspective. Their defense is going to be probably the best in the league if they're healthy, just because of the star power that they have and the things that they added to it, like especially Larry Ogunjobi. Like I watched him play all year. He is a stud.
He's phenomenal when he's healthy.
Yeah.
He really is.
So him next to Cam Hayward and in front of TJ Watt, and then behind him you got Devin Bush and Miles Jack. Bro, like that's scary.
Yeah, what this defense needs is it needs Devin Bush to get his head right. Because last year it wasn't. It was very obvious to see he was playing with no confidence whatsoever. He was just every move he made, he was second guessing,
Yeah.
and that's not what they drafted him for. They drafted him to be that downhill guy that just plays his heart out every play,
Yeah.
and if you throw across the middle, he's going to level you.
Yeah.
That's what they need from him. I genuinely think he gets back to that this year just because he's had that off season. He's been quiet, which generally means good things. When guys are quiet in the off season, they're not showing off or anything. I normally take that as a good sign that they're coming back with something. So I'm good with that. And I will speak on that offensive line a bit because contrary to popular belief, it is not going to be as bad as people think it is. Like Dan Moore at left tackle was not as bad as what the PFF grade would have him turn out to be.
So any
He
PFF
was
grade can be questioned.
yes, it can. But they've tried to make it out like he was one of the worst left tackles in the league last year, and no, he was not great by any means, but he was not bad. Like he did have some games. Like I'm not gonna lie, the first Browns game, Myles Garrett handled him, but also that's Myles Garrett.
Right.
In the second game, Myles Garrett didn't even touch Big Ben, which Big Ben couldn't move to save his life. So
Yeah.
that you gotta give credit where it's due, regardless if they were throwing the ball in less than 2 seconds or not. It was, he did his job. That's all
Right.
you can ask.
Right.
Um, the James Daniels pickup, I'm fairly certain he's going to play right guard. I'm very, very much up. I think he's better than Trey Turner. I think he's going to be kind of a leader on that offensive line, and he's still young. He's not even 25. So getting a guy like that now is very good. Mason Cole is an underrated center, and he's not great. I'm not gonna act like he's this top 10 center in the NFL, but they just needed a middle of the road guy that could snap the ball correctly because that's where Kendrick Green was god awful at. The one position on that offensive line that scares me is Chuks Okorafor. That's because he wasn't that great. He wasn't. I was really hoping that they were going to draft a tackle. They didn't. That's okay. I'm okay with them bringing Chooks back because he's serviceable. You're not going out there and giving up a sack every play with the right tackle that you're throwing in. So he already knows the system. They're expanding the system, or at least I hope they are. So that offensive line has a lot more oomph to it this year than it did last year. Last year, it seemed like the only person that cared was Trey Turner. And this year, you're coming. This offense is coming in when it was like the worst in the NFL at a few points last year. This offense is coming in, and they're not going to allow that to happen again. Are they going to be that much better? I don't know. But if they're around 20th, if they're around the 20th to 15th best offense in the NFL, the Steelers are making the playoffs because their defense is going to be number one as long as they're healthy. I mean, you don't have that many guys and not be that good on defense. Like you just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been well coached for a long time. They even brought in Brian Flores, which is incredible hire.
Great pickup.
Incredible. I like I like the I like the Omar Khan hire. He was the salary cap guy for Kevin Colbert.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have a salary cap guy running your team, and I mean he's been with the organization for over 20 years. He started as like a film guy. I mean, you gotta love that genuinely because he's going to do everything that he can to make this team better. And he brought in a couple of his guys with him, and I respect it. So for me, B plus is where I want to put them because no, they didn't blow your shoes off with the offseason that they had, but they made the correct, smart moves. They got their guy in the draft at quarterback, at least we think. They also signed Trubisky to help mentor him, get him through. And if he's not that guy, that's fine. If Trubisky's that guy, that's fine. I mean, you have the flexibility now to where you can go somewhere. If you don't go anywhere, you have flexibility to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the perfect offseason for what I thought the Steelers should do. I wanted them to bring in a bridge quarterback. It was for me, it was Trubisky and Mariota. I am kind of glad it's Trubisky now. Now that I've seen him a little more. 'Cause I think Mariota would not have worked well in the Steelers offense just because it's not tailored to a Mariota. It's tailored more to a Trubisky.
He's got a good arm, but Trubisky's got a better arm.
Yeah, I think it just works better for Trubisky. That's why it'll work for Pickett because they're essentially kind of the same type of player. Not saying that Trubisky's going or that Pickett's going to be terrible or he's going to be great. It's just they are the same kind of player.
Wow.
They play the same kind of style of football where they both are athletic enough. They're not the most athletic, but they are fairly athletic and they can sling it around a little bit. That's really that. Genuinely, as a Steelers fan, this was the offseason that I asked for last year.
Yeah.
And it happened this year, so I'm very okay with where we're at.
I really think Kenny Pickett wound up being a great pickup. Like he's such
I
like
hope so.
this is another one of those hometown guys like we are talking about with Hutchinson. I mean,
Mhm.
went to college there from the area. Like he will be. I really, really think he will end up being a great pickup, a guy that you'll have around for a decade.
Yeah, and if he is, that is all you ask for.
Yeah.
Because you're going from a Hall of Fame quarterback, and after a Hall of Fame quarterback, it is hard to find that guy. I hope they did. I hope they found him. We don't really know yet. We won't know for a little while because he's probably not going to start week 1.
No, he won't start. I don't know if he'll start a game this year.
Unless it comes to an injury.
Well, yeah.
I would find it hard to believe if Trubisky goes down that they don't play Kenny Pickett
No, they
because
will.
we already know what we got with Mason Rudolph. There's no point in letting him touch the field. He probably should have already been traded.
No, I agree. Well, what I'm saying, the reason I say that is because, like, barring injury, I feel like Mitch Trubisky's he's just gonna be the starter unless he's just that bad,
Hmm.
which I don't think he will in this system.
Yeah, this system is built for a quarterback to be able to suck and still win games.
That's what I'm saying. Like there will be no need to play Kenny Pickett whenever you can just literally groom him, teach him the whole year.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm really excited for the Steelers season. It's just it's going to be fun, and it hasn't been fun since like 2018.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, this entire AFC will be fun.
Yeah,
This is the second toughest conference or division in all of football.
yeah. I mean, you could argue for first too.
You could, but I don't think. Listen, man, I know our limits. We
But
can
I
argue.
agree. I agree.
We aren't beating the
I'm not
AFC
disagreeing with
West.
you. I'm not disagreeing with you. But you could someone could make the argument.
Oh, for sure.
I'm not going to, but someone could.
Yeah, I won't, but if you wanted to, I will listen.
Yeah. Uh yeah, I'm good on the Steelers if you are.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it. That
Yeah,
was that was a beautiful show. We did that a lot faster than what I expected. I did kind of ramble on the Steelers, but
that's
it
fine.
needed to be done. It needed to be done.
That's fine.
Y'all are probably going to hear a lot more rambles on the Steelers, and I apologize. It's just going to happen. Ryan's probably going to ramble on about the Bengals eventually. So
Oh, you have no idea.
yeah, I feel like I do.
You know,
I
but
did live with
they
you.
don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, this is gonna be
Okay.
fun. I'm excited. The
And
season is officially upon us.
what we got, like 60 days? Less
69
than 2 months.
days.
69.
I think it
Love
was
that.
69.
That's nice.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it?
Nice. All right. Well, I do have a great idea for this next episode, which I've already talked around about. We thought about ending this episode with it, but I think honestly it's a great idea, and I think we can make a show out of it. So I wanna set that aside for the next episode if you're good with that.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So sorry we didn't have the special guest we promised in the last one. He will be on eventually. It was just it was unfortunate timing.
I lied,
But
by the way. It's 43 days. I don't know why I said 69 days. I feel like I saw something else say 69 days. Maybe it was that
maybe
NBA.
maybe you're just thinking about
No, no, no,
it.
no, no. Hold on. Let me see if it's NBA. Hold on. Let me redeem myself.
Redeem yourself.
Redeem. 11 weeks. Hold on.
Yeah,
It's
eh,
close. It's close.
that would probably be about 76ish,
I saw I
80ish.
saw it be somewhere. How many days
I think it's
until
80.
dang. I don't know why. There literally wasn't any other reason besides the NBA or NFL. I didn't redeem myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
it's
failed you
okay.
all.
Well, you know, this was a good podcast though.
It
Even
was
though
oh,
you
it was a great
failed.
podcast. Great podcast.
Great podcast.
Hit us with that amazing like outro. Whatever you got to do to lead into
Outro.
it. Yeah. What's our
Yeah, yeah.
outro?
What's our outro? I don't honestly know our outro. I forgot. It's been so long.
Hit us with one.
Um, hit us with one. Okay. Thank you guys for joining the Mostly Audibles podcast. This is myself, Jarrett Smith, and my co-host Ryan. Say bye, Ryan.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back. Should be next week.
Hopefully.
Bye, guys.
See you then.